All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I am Sarabjit Kaur and with me is Tanvi Taneja. The headlines. Union Minister Ram Vilas Paswan passes away in New Delhi. Cremation to take place in Patna tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India has most favourable investment climate. Health Ministry issues guidelines for entertainment parks and other similar places amidst corona pandemic. RBI to announce its bi-monthly monetary policy review today. Notification for second phase of assembly elections in Bihar to be issued today. And in French Open tennis, Polish Iga Świątek to clash with Sofia Kenin in the women's singles final. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a note of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. Now the news in detail. Union Minister Ram Vilas Paswan passed away in New Delhi yesterday evening. He was 74. The Lok Janashakti Party founder and Minister for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution had recently undergone a heart operation at a private hospital. He was elected to Lok Sabha 8 times and also held the record of winning his constituency Hajipur with the highest margin for several years. A state funeral will be accorded to him. The Home Ministry has announced that the national flag will fly at half-mast in Delhi and capitals of all states and union territories today as a mark of respect to the departed leader. On the day of the funeral, the national flag will be flown at half-mast at the place where the funeral will take place. Paswan's body will be brought to his Janpat residence in New Delhi today and then flown to the party's office in Patna in the afternoon. Cremation will take place in Patna tomorrow. President Ramnath Kovind, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and a host of dignitaries have condoled his demise. In a tweet, Mr. Kovind said, in his demise, the nation has lost a visionary leader. The President said he was among the most active and longest-serving members of Parliament and was the voice of the oppressed and championed the cause of the marginalized. Expressing grief, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he is saddened beyond words as his death has left a void in the nation that will perhaps never be filled. Mr. Modi described his demise as a personal loss. Prime Minister said he has lost a friend, valued colleague and someone who was extremely passionate to ensure every poor person leads a life of dignity. Mr. Modi said Paswan ji rose in politics through hard work and determination. The Prime Minister said as a young leader, he resisted tyranny and the assault on democracy during the emergency. Mr. Modi said the LJP founder was an outstanding parliamentarian and minister, making lasting contributions in several policy areas. Home Minister Amit Shah has expressed grief over his demise. In a series of tweets, Mr. Shah said Paswan always fought for the welfare and the rights of the poor and the deprived. The Home Minister said the veteran leader always kept national interest and public welfare paramount in his political life, and his demise has created a void in Indian politics. In his condolence, Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar said Paswan fought for the rights and issues of the downtrodden and backward classes in the country throughout his life. He also remembered him as an active and lively cabinet minister and leader. BJP President J.P. Nadda also expressed his condolences at the demise of Ram Vilas Paswan.
विश्वविद्यालय ने छात्रों से मिलने आया था। एक फायरब्रांड लीडर के रूप में हमने देखा था। गरीबों की चिंता करने वाले, समाज के अंतिम पायदान पर खड़े व्यक्ति की चिंता करने वाले, और साथ ही साथ वह किसी भी सरकार में मंत्री रहे, लेकिन सभी पार्टियों में बराबर की दोस्ती, सबको साथ लेकर के चलना, मृदुभाषी, सबके साथ सरल स्वभाव के साथ मिलना और समाज के प्रति अपनी कमिटमेंट, अपनी समर्पण के साथ उन्होंने जीवन जिया है। ईश्वर उनकी आत्मा को शांति दे और परिवार को शक्ति दे कि वह इस दुख भरी घड़ी में हिम्मत के साथ खड़े रहें।
Several leaders, including his cabinet colleagues, chief ministers and governors, also expressed their condolences. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has hailed the Trinity reforms in the fields of labour, education and agriculture and asserted that India undertook structural reforms amidst the global pandemic to usher in revolutionary changes in the country. Addressing the Invest India conference in Canada through video conferencing yesterday, the Prime Minister said the reforms introduced by the government have resulted in substantial improvement in the country's ranking in terms of ease of doing business. Highlighting the key markers of the huge surge in FDI in the country during 2019, he said the country has decriminalized many provisions in the Companies Act.
We have undertaken significant reforms for developing a robust bond market. We have come up with incentive schemes for champion sectors. Schemes in sectors like in pharma, medical devices and electronic manufacturing have already been in operation. We want to ensure high-level attention and effective hand-holding for investors.
Mr. Modi said the country emerged as a pharmacy center of the world during the pandemic and extended assistance to over 150 countries around the world by ensuring supplies of life-saving drugs.
We want to help the entire world when it comes to vaccine production for COVID-19. The India story is strong today and stronger tomorrow.
The Prime Minister said that New India has an opportunity for everyone. Underlining the change in mindset and perception of everyone regarding the country, he said, India has all the necessary vitals which make it a lucrative investment destination. Mr. Modi said the vibrant democracy, stability of the government, transparency in business and availability of a large market in the country ensures predictable return for all investors.
There is an opportunity for everyone, institutional investors, manufacturers, supporters of innovations, ecosystems and infrastructure companies. There is an opportunity to invest, to set up units and to run businesses. There is an opportunity to partner with our private sector and with the governments. There is an opportunity to earn as well as learn. Not only that, as well as to lead. There is an opportunity to grow.
Mr. Modi enumerated how the government has taken care of its citizens amid the pandemic by making food available readily to nearly 800 million people. He said around 400 million people were benefited by direct cash transfers in recent times, which established that robust structural changes have been made for complete overhauling of systems. Underlining India's resilience, the Prime Minister said the country has emerged as a land of solutions at a time when the whole world has been reeling under the effects of the pandemic. The Reserve Bank of India will announce its bi-monthly monetary policy review in Mumbai today. The newly constituted Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, of the RBI began its three-day deliberations on Wednesday amid the industry's expectations that the central bank will maintain status quo on the benchmark lending rates in view of hardening inflation. The meeting of the six-member MPC, earlier slated for September 29th to October 1st, was rescheduled as the appointment of independent members was delayed. Details from our correspondent.
After the MPC meeting had to be postponed for over a week due to lack of quorum, the government has now appointed three eminent economists, Ashima Goyal, professor at Indira Gandhi Institute of Development Research in Mumbai, Jayant Verma, currently a professor at IIM Ahmedabad, and Shashank Bhide, currently a senior advisor at the National Council of Applied Economic Research, as independent members of the revamped six-member MPC headed by RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das. According to a data released by the RBI, bank credit has grown by 5.15% to 102.72 lakh crore rupees, and the deposits rose by 10.51% to 142.64 lakh crore rupees in the fortnight that ended on September 25th. Sonali Ghadayar Patil, AIR News, Mumbai.
Notification for the second phase of assembly elections in Bihar will be issued today. With the notification, the process of filing of nominations will start in 94 assembly constituencies spread over 17 districts. Polling in these constituencies will be held on 3rd November. The process of nomination will end on 16th October and scrutiny will take place on the next day. The last date for withdrawal of candidature is 19th October. All poll-bound districts in the second phase are in North Bihar except Patna and Nalanda. In Bihar, the scrutiny of nomination papers for the first phase of assembly elections in 71 constituencies will be held today. 1,848 candidates have filed their nominations for this phase. The last date of withdrawal of candidature is 12th of this month, and polling will be held on the 28th of October. In the first phase, 41 candidates of JDU have filed their nominations. BJP has given tickets to 29 candidates and one seat has been left for the VIP. In the Grand Alliance, RJD is contesting on 42 seats, while its allies Congress is contesting on 21 seats. The LJP is contesting 42 seats in this phase.
Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Singh Puri has said that the government has facilitated the repatriation and international travel of over 20 lakh people through different means since 6th of May. Interacting with media persons in New Delhi yesterday, Mr. Puri said that under Vande Bharat mission, over 17 lakh people have travelled back to India and nearly 3 lakh people have travelled out of India. Speaking about international travel, Mr. Puri informed that the government has formalized air bubble arrangements with 16 countries. USA, Canada, France, Germany, UK, Maldives, UAE, Qatar, Afghanistan, Bahrain, Japan, Nigeria, Kenya, Iraq, Bhutan and Oman. He added that the government is in discussion with Italy, Bangladesh, Kazakhstan, Ukraine and others for similar arrangements. Assam Chief Minister Sarbanand Sonowal has said that his government fulfilled a poll promise by providing land patta to indigenous people of the state. Talking to AIR, Mr. Sonowal said that the state government has given land patta to 1 lakh families on the 5th of this month. The Chief Minister said that no government ever did this during the last 70 years. Mr. Sonowal added that the Assam government will ensure that no son of the soil will remain landless. He asserted that his government is committed for the development of the indigenous people. He also thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi for the support extended to Assam government in this endeavour.
असम सरकार ने 2016 में असम की जनता को हमने एक वादा किया था कि हमारे कार्यकाल में भूमिहीन भूमिपुत्रों को जमीन का पट्टा दिया जाएगा। हमारी सरकार ने इस विषय पर निष्ठा से काम किया। असम की जनता के सहयोग की वजह से हमने 5 अक्टूबर में एक ही दिन के अंदर कुल मिला के 1 लाख भूमिहीन भूमिपुत्रों को हमने जमीन का पट्टा देने का काम किया। आज हमारा यही लक्ष्य है कि असम के अंदर कोई भी ऐसा व्यक्ति ना रहे जिसका पास जमीन का पट्टा ना हो। हमारी तरफ से इतना बड़ा कदम उठाया गया है, तो हमारी सरकार जनता की हितों के लिए काम करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है और प्रतिबद्ध रहेंगे।
Uttar Pradesh government will launch a special campaign on the safety of women and girls during the Navratri festival beginning October 17th. During this time, women go out to worship in temples and see the Shera fairs, in which complaints of molestation of women are often received. The state government will also identify hot spots where complaints of harassment are frequent and will deploy extra force there. A report.
Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has directed officials to run a special campaign during Navratri in which special police teams will be deployed for safety of women. The Chief Minister has said that anti-Romeo squads formed to check harassment of women and girls should remain active in crowded and sensitive areas. Additional Chief Secretary Home Avnish Awasthi said that a data analytics center is being established to strengthen the security of women and girls. He said that complaints related to active stalking are being addressed in a serious manner and modern cyber forensic tools are being used to deal with such complaints. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. Before we move on, a reminder of the headlines. Union Minister Ram Vilas Paswan passes away in New Delhi. Cremation to take place in Patna tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India has the most favourable investment climate. Health Ministry issues guidelines for entertainment parks and other similar places amidst corona pandemic. RBI to announce its bi-monthly monetary policy review today. Notification for the second phase of assembly elections in Bihar to be issued today. And in French Open tennis, Polish Iga Świątek to clash with Sofia Kenin in the women's singles final. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
3 steps to stay protected and stay safe from COVID-19. Wear face mask, 2 gaz ki duri to maintain social distancing, maintain hand and face hygiene.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched a campaign on Jan Andolan for COVID-19 appropriate behavior in view of the upcoming festivals and the winter season, as well as the opening up of the economy. In a tweet, Mr. Modi appealed to people to unite to fight corona. He urged people to always remember to wear mask, wash hands, follow social distancing by maintaining 2 gaz ki duri. He said, together we will succeed and win against COVID-19. The Prime Minister said India's COVID-19 fight is people-driven and gets great strength from our COVID warriors. He said our collective efforts have helped save many lives. Mr. Modi said we have to continue the momentum and protect our citizens from the virus. A concerted action plan will also be implemented by central government ministries and departments and state governments and union territories with region-specific targeted communication in high caseload districts. Proper dissemination of precautionary measures on all media platforms throughout the country will be put out. Informing about the campaign, Minister for Information and Broadcasting Prakash Javadekar said that special focus will be laid on simple and easily understandable messages so that they can reach every citizen. President Ramnath Kovind has urged fellow citizens to unite in the fight against COVID-19. He appealed to wear mask, wash hands and practice social distancing. Mr. Kovind said the nation stands united to defeat COVID-19 through collective determination and discipline. He added that together we will fight, we will win. Eminent actor Amitabh Bachchan has also appealed to people to follow social distancing and other norms to fight COVID-19.
नमस्कार, हमारा देश और पूरा विश्व आज कोविड-19 की चुनौती का सामना कर रहा है। कोविड-19 अभी खत्म नहीं हुआ है। ऐसे में हमारा फर्ज है कि हम सतर्क रहें। इसलिए जब तक दवाई नहीं तब तक कोई ढिलाई नहीं। कोरोना से बचाव के लिए जरूरी है नियमित रूप से हाथ धोना, मास्क पहनना और आपस में उचित दूरी बनाए रखना। याद रखिए, 2 गज दूरी मास्क है जरूरी। खांसी, बुखार या सांस लेने में कठिनाई होने पर हेल्पलाइन नंबर 1075 पर संपर्क करें।
Ace badminton player Saina Nehwal also appealed to people to follow all precautions to fight COVID-19 pandemic.
This festive season, make sure you keep yourself and your loved ones safe. Wear mask, wash your hands and maintain physical distance. Join Jan Andolan against COVID-19.
Director of All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, Dr. Randeep Guleria said that the 3 steps to fight coronavirus as enumerated by Prime Minister assume all the more significance in view of the coming festive season and change of weather.
To win the battle against COVID-19, have to have a Jan Andolan. Every citizen of the country has to get involved, and this is a battle that has to be won by community participation rather than through hospitals. And for this, 3 major steps which the Honorable Prime Minister has today announced are very, very important. And one of them is physical distancing, wearing masks, and regular hand washing, either using soap or a hand sanitizer. If we follow these 3 steps, especially during festive season and during the winter months, we will be able to decrease substantially the number of cases, and this will also lead to decrease in the death rate. We can win the battle against COVID-19.
Veteran sports commentator Ghaus Mohammed said that the 3 steps tweeted by the Prime Minister need to be followed honestly to fight coronavirus.
Remember, 3 steps to stay protected and stay safe from COVID-19. Wear face mask, 2 gaz duri to maintain social distancing, maintain hand and face hygiene.
COVID recoveries in the country have been reported to be more than the new cases for 3 continuous weeks. The number of new cases during the last 3 weeks have also displayed a steady trend of decline. The Health Ministry said that the higher recoveries and decline in active cases is the result of collaborative action done by states and union territories under Centre's strategy of comprehensive testing, tracking, quick hospitalization and adherence to standard treatment protocol. The Health Ministry has issued standard operating procedures, SOPs, on preventive measures to be followed in entertainment parks and other similar places amidst the corona pandemic. The Home Ministry had earlier allowed reopening of entertainment parks and similar places from 15th of this month. In addition to the basic norms of wearing masks and maintaining at least 6 feet physical distancing, the SOPs necessitate sanitization of rides and staggered timings of operation. Maximum 50% seating capacity in theatres and food courts have been allowed. The guidelines also stress on ensuring natural ventilation while clearly instructing not to permit usage of swimming pools. The entertainment park owners and managers have been instructed to effectively work out mechanisms to not allow excessive crowding even on peak days and holidays.
In Odisha, the COVID-19 caseload has decreased to 29,443, while the cumulative caseload has increased to 2,44,142, with 3,144 fresh cases. The recovery has also increased to 2,13,672, with 3,455 patients reported to be cured from the infection yesterday. With 16 fatalities yesterday, the death toll has also gone up to 974. A report.
Ganjam district has drifted the most positive of the stories on pandemic management for it to be satisfied about. From being the COVID-19 hotspot in the state to being the one reporting far too fewer cases like only 38 yesterday, has earned accolades from the University of Oxford. As revealed by the government in a meeting in Bhubaneswar yesterday, empowered sarpanches, active village committees for intensive screening and assured healthcare have all made Ganjam a successful model of COVID-19 management. Meanwhile, in deference to the demand of priests and servitors alike, the state government has sought reports from the district collector on the feasibility of opening up places of worship in the state which continue to be off limits to the devotee. Girish Chandra Das, Bhubaneswar.
In Madhya Pradesh, more than 30,000 tests for corona were conducted for the second consecutive day yesterday. At the same time, the number of patients recovering in the state is more than the number of infected people for the 6th successive day. More from our correspondent.
The number of new infections in the state has also come down to 1,700 patients per day. Also, nearly after a month, the overall positivity rate was reduced to around 5%. The positivity rate means the number of people testing positive per 100 samples stood at 5.5%. It was also the 6th consecutive days when the number of people recovering from the corona outnumbered those testing positive. The death toll increased 2,547. With 469 people testing positive, Indore reported the highest number of COVID infections. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Tamil Nadu, the total COVID-19 patients under treatment or in home isolation dipped further to about 44,500. The total cases mortalities, however, crossed 10,000 yesterday. Meanwhile, in Chennai, the second phase of the Sero survey on COVID-19 has been launched. The Tamil Nadu Principal Health Secretary Dr. J. Radhakrishnan told reporters that the study will be expanded throughout the state in about 10 days. More from our correspondent.
The new cases in Chennai in terms of absolute numbers has begun showing a marginal upward trend. As the number of tests have been increased threefold since mid-June, epidemiologists say it is no cause for alarm, saying the case positivity rate is now well under 8%. They insist that the key parameter is the case mortality rate, which at present is 1.57% statewide. The Chennai Corporation and the State Public Health Department have been jointly conducting fever camps in residential areas. It helped to prevent any further spread of the infection from them. Now, the officials are planning to conduct the fever camps at workplaces in the afternoons as a means of aggressive intervention against the elusive virus. Jai Singh, AIR News, Chennai.
Chhattisgarh government has abolished the obligation of quarantine for persons coming to Chhattisgarh from other states. The state government has also decided not to open schools at present in the wake of the prevailing situation due to spread of coronavirus in the state. The decision was taken at a meeting of the state cabinet held yesterday. More details on this from our correspondent.
Corona infection continues to increase in Chhattisgarh. In view of this, the state cabinet has decided that the schools will be kept closed till the situation improves. The cabinet has also decided that the major event to be held to mark the foundation day of Chhattisgarh on November 1 every year will not be held this year. Only the state investiture ceremony will be held at the Chief Minister's residence office. Meanwhile, more than 1 lakh patients have recovered after the treatment. The recovery rate has increased to 78%. Vikalp Shukla, AIR News, Raipur.
Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani e-dedicated online e-Sanjeevani OPD scheme across Gujarat through video conferencing yesterday. The main objective of the scheme is to provide medical facilities online to the patients for common diseases at their home. Our correspondent reports that this will reduce the additional burden on hospitals and OPDs.
E-Sanjeevani OPD scheme is the central scheme and now the people of Gujarat will get its benefit. The Chief Minister Vijay Rupani described this service as an extension of free treatment and medicines being provided to COVID-19 patients. It is one step ahead of telemedicine facilities for diagnosis on the phone through the latest technology. The state government is also planning to extend its scope to medical colleges and young doctors. Meanwhile, Gujarat has recorded 1,278 new cases during the last 24 hours. Total 1,27,923 patients have been recovered till date. Recovery rate has reached up to 86.47%. Yogesh Pandya, Air News, Ahmedabad.
In Karnataka, COVID surge continues with 10,704 new COVID-19 cases reported yesterday, taking the tally to 6,79,356. At the same time, 9,613 people were cured from the disease and discharged from various hospitals in the state. The total number of recoveries have gone up to 5,52,519. Our correspondent tells us more.
Karnataka Chief Minister B.S. Yediyurappa held a review meeting through video conference with the 10 district officials having high COVID case load and mortality rate. He issued directions to these district officials to increase the RT-PCR test and contain mortality rate. These hotspots districts, namely Udupi, Shimoga, Hassan, Mysuru, Ballari, Uttara Kannada, Dakshina Kannada, Dharwad, Belagavi and Tumkuru account for nearly 30% of the state's active COVID-19 cases and 40% of all deaths because of the viral infection. The Chief Minister has also said that an expert team will be dispatched to Dharwad to ascertain the ground reality for the high mortality rate in the district. R. Murthy, AAR News, Bengaluru.
In French Open tennis, Polish teenager Iga Świątek will take on Sofia Kenin in the final of women's singles event. Świątek entered the final beating Nadia Podoroska 6-2, 6-1 in the semi-final yesterday. In the men's singles semi-finals today, while Rafael Nadal meets the Schwartzman, Novak Djokovic faces Stefanos Tsitsipas. And in IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad registered a comfortable 69-run win over Kings 11 Punjab in Dubai last night. In today's encounter, Rajasthan Royals will take on Delhi Capitals at Sharjah. And now let us take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi recorded a minimum temperature of 20 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. In Mumbai, the minimum temperature was 27 degrees, maximum will be around 34. Chennai, the temperatures will hover between 27 and 37 degrees Celsius. Kolkata, the temperatures shall move from 28 to 36 degrees Celsius. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 19 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 34 degrees Celsius. In Gilgit, the temperatures shall hover between 7 and 29 degrees Celsius. And now an overview of today's newspapers. Most newspapers today lead with pictures of the political stalwart known for his astute political sense, late Shri Ram Vilas Paswan, who passed away yesterday. The pioneer writes, "Eternal Mausam Vaigyanik Ram Vilas Paswan no more," urging people to take adequate precautions and behave appropriately during the coming festive season. The Hindustan Times headline reads, "Government launches plan to change behavior for war on COVID." With some ease in the offing to travellers, the Asian Age reports, airlines may soon get the nod to operate more flights. With the COVID pandemic taking a toll on mental health, the Economic Times talks of proactive measures taken by MNCs like pandemic leave, home office and nanny services, all this to de-stress employees. And finally, attending the call of duty beyond bounds, the Times of India, under the caption "Mid-Air Miracle," talks of two doctors who assisted a passenger deliver a baby mid-air. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Union Minister Ram Vilas Paswan passes away in New Delhi. Cremation to take place in Patna tomorrow. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says India has most favourable investment climate. Health Ministry issues guidelines for entertainment parks and other similar places amidst corona pandemic. RBI to announce its bi-monthly monetary policy review today. Notification for second phase of assembly elections in Bihar to be issued today. And in French Open tennis, Polish Iga Świątek to clash with Sofia Kenin in the women's singles final.
And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.